Hi, welcome to my new YouTube channel, Programming for Biologists. Over the next few videos, I'm going to show you how to program, mostly using Python, to enable you to process your data more easily and efficiently. Once we've covered all of the basics of programming, we'll then go more into detail on how to more efficiently structure your data to allow for more reproducible analysis and get away from using programs like Excel, which can lead to errors in your data processing. I think everyone should be able to program, and I think it's very important for experimental biologists, especially as data sets keep getting larger and larger, and imaging data gets more and more complex to analyze. By following these videos, you should be able to eventually turn any data into beautiful plots with accurate analysis. So the first thing we're going to need to do is install Python. Okay, so there are a couple of different ways that we could choose to install Python, but the one that I'm going to recommend is using Anaconda Python. So the link for this will be in the video description, but basically Anaconda is this distribution which includes a couple of other pieces of software, but also lots of the libraries that we might need for doing data analysis. So these are the included, some of the included libraries that are in Anaconda. Okay, so you can go ahead and download that and make sure that you pick the right version for your operating system. Okay, so I've gone and cut the downloading part out of the video just because that's long and quite boring. So once you've downloaded it, you can go ahead and install Anaconda. You can just go through and follow all of the different prompts and, click continue. You can select where you're installing it. On Windows, this might be slightly different, but you can choose to install it for a single user or for everyone on the system. The installation shouldn't take too long, depending on your computer. Once that's finished installing, you should be greeted with Anaconda Navigator. If you don't see this, then you can always search for it and open it. But basically, this shows you everything that Anaconda has installed on your computer. Some things are obviously optional and you can install them later. So you can see most things have little launch buttons because these are things that are installed, and yours may look slightly different to what I have here. Or some things might have install next to them and you might want to install these at a later date. Now, the only piece of software that we actually need to have installed for these video series is Visual Studio Code. So you can install this through Anaconda Navigator if you don't have it installed already, or you can install it separately, and I'll put a link in the video description as well. So when you open Visual Studio Code, this is what it will look like. You have these different tabs at the side. The top one lets you select folders to open. So you can have like a whole folder open and it will show you all the scripts that are inside that one folder. That's quite useful for managing projects. Or if you're working on one particular set of data, you might want all the scripts for that data in one folder. And if you click open folder, then you can select a folder and it will then open that. Obviously, you can also create a new folder, as I'm doing now, which I can use to contain scripts for this video course, for example. So once you click open, you will be greeted with this new pop-up, which comes up every time now. It's do you trust the authors? And I think this is just to stop people running malicious code on their computers. Okay, so now we've got a new empty folder. We can click create new file. If this isn't your first time opening this and you've already created Python files, you might see Python as an option here. But you don't have to worry if you don't see Python as an option. So you can just click new file and then click create a text file. And then you can select the language and type in Python. Now, if this is your first time, you'll get this little pop-up and you want to click install here. And what this is doing is basically installing software into Visual Studio Code. It's a plugin that basically lets Visual Studio Code know that you want to write in Python, and it'll give you lots of little hints that pop up as you're typing code. And we'll see those when we start writing some code, but they're very useful, and it means that you can write code much more quickly because you can basically start typing a function, and if Visual Studio Code knows that function, it will basically autocomplete. And it will also give you nice little descriptions of what functions do. So like if I start typing print now, you can see that it's auto-completing, but it's also giving me all the other options that could be there. So other functions that might exist. So for now, we're just going to type print. And then you can see that it also shows me how to use the print function. So for now, I'm just going to write inverted commas, and I'm going to type hello world, because this is the first thing we learn to do in every programming language is print hello world. So if you've got it looking like this, with print brackets hello world with an well, it doesn't have to have the exclamation mark, and then click run, you'll be prompted to save the file because Python scripts need to be saved before they will run. You don't want lots of brackets and inverted commas in your file names. This is just really bad naming convention. So you can just name it something simple that's easy to read. So I'm just going to type hello world and then click save. Okay, and now when we run that, you can see down at the bottom, the terminal is opened, and inside our terminal it says hello world. And that's because we've told Python to print to the terminal hello world. Okay, so that's our first little Python script that we made. In the next video, I'm going to go over some of the more basics of coding. If you've done programming before, this might be a bit too low level for you, but I want to make this sort of accessible for everyone and people who haven't programmed before. So like I said, all the links that you need to install Anaconda and Visual Studio Code are in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks.